As you are reality shifting, it is natural to want to link up to friends, family, loved ones, but we have to be careful that we're not accidentally creating empty vectors. And here's what I mean. So, very often when we first start awakening to reality shifting and we start envisioning or scripting our reality, our desired reality that we want to have, we very rarely just put ourselves in a vision alone. It's usually with a love interest, it's usually with people that we love that are also on the journey. And so we create these slots for them, right? And what happens is that you are a sentient being and your consciousness is expanding. And the essence and the vibration of you on this journey continues to blossom and grow. And ideally, you want somebody who is at the other end of that manifestation. And what happens is when you get very, very specific, like I have a commenter. Thank you, by the way, for your positive engagement. It really helps out my channel. And this particular commenter has been great with questions and conversation. And I love one of their, I hope I can share, it's in the public comment section, but I love one of their visions, which is they have this dream of being in a punk rock band, and they have like their best friend with them and like a crush with them as well. And they have this like amazing idea, and it's quite a stretch for them. And they've already sort of popped into a dream reality and they're working on stabilizing it. Good job, by the way. Really good job. I'm really proud of you because you were trying to run away from yourself. And when you started doing the shadow work, it was like a miracle. Your current reality morphed into your dream reality. Isn't that amazing? So keep stabilizing it, keep anchoring into your dream reality. Anyway, so they have another dream reality of being a musician, but this is really, really far away from their current one. And they've focused on things like wealth and opportunities coming to them and the sun shining and life being free and, like all of the positive things. But they had a question, which I thought was a great question. Do I still continue to work towards this other dream reality? I'm going to have a different episode on stepstoning manifestations. And I see it like almost like monkey bars, where you want to have a couple in the works because sometimes the timing is out of your control. And this helps you to fluidly move in between the different levels of your life and the different manifestations that you end up building. And so what was cute about this dream is that this person's posse was with them, also in the band. But there's a very, very, very high risk of having empty vectors, meaning they script this reality out, they create and manifest this reality, but it is contingent upon now 3 other people. And those 3 other people also have to be shifting with you and scripting with you, and it's got to be in alignment with them, and they have to choose it with their free will, and then they have to become a vibrational match for it and then turn into the person that can step into that manifestation with you. And so the odds of that happening, for one person to meet you on the other side of that manifestation and that co-creation together, because now you're talking about co-creating with several different people, right? And everybody's got to be on board, and it's got to be in their highest interest. Because if not, then it means that it's kind of cruel to drag them into our desired reality when they have a date with destiny somewhere else. And on the surface, it seems like such a great idea, right? And it seems like harmless, right? But actually, it can create a lot of karma. And in my experience, it actually creates a null manifestation. So you're always waiting for it and you can never shift into it. And it's sort of like a lot of people do this on the twin flame journey, where they create a manifestation specifically to meet up with their twin flame, but without knowing the road that the twin flame is supposed to take, they might be holding an empty vector at the end of it. And then getting frustrated with this process of reality shifting or manifestation. Why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? Why? Because you are trying to rope somebody into the manifestation that is not in their highest alignment. And let's say, for example, that on the twin flame journey, as I've spoken about before, it really is about evolution and growth. And let's say that somebody doesn't do that work and they try to trap their twin flame in this hell-like existence because they haven't done the work and they just miss the love and they just miss everything, and they're not triggered when they're in separation as much, but when they get close, then they start to really become triggered and self-sabotage or destructive or toxic, right? So this person that is holding on, that actually has all of these toxic and negative patterns, is effectively linking or trying to link their twin flame or bonded partner in a lower octave of love. And in worst cases, in like, you can never leave. Oh, for eternity, you will be mine. You know, like that is scary. It's really scary when people do that, especially when they're at those lower toxic vibrations. And these powerful soulmate connections are really about leveling us up. But there are many people that don't yet fully understand that. And so they keep chasing the carrot when the focus should be on the work, the personal work. And so what ends up happening is that there are, at least in my designs, I don't know where you're at and if my designs are applicable there, but it creates a karmic load that we can't allow, right? From an intelligent design perspective and from a quantum society design perspective, because you need to level up and they need to level up. And instead of staying in the crappiest, most horrific experience of love, like, yes, the highs are high, but the lows are really, really low. And oftentimes they're kind of like nightmares at the end of it, when people are spiraling out of control and they're just screaming their heads off, or they're, you know, it brings out the worst in people. It really does. And I've seen many different iterations of it. You know, people get villainized, people get destroyed, people, it's just this whole thing. And so we need to help people open the grip and let their partners level up and let them level up, and then create a manifestation that is a transmutated manifestation. And this is what I do in my twin flame facilitation coaching, by the way, is we work on this process of transmutation and leveling you up to connect with another version of your twin flame. But sometimes the potentials are empty, meaning that your twin flame walks away, or in this lifetime they go and explore with other people. No, we're going to love spell them back. No, we're not. That is karma. That is karma. Seriously, that's like energetic rape. We're not doing that. We are going to create a potential that allows for people to join us at a higher octave, at a transmutated point. And the more people you want to have join you, the more you have to allow room for them for it to be an invitation. So the way I like to do it is to have a slot that is held for people. And I like to say, instead of a specific person, I like to put it like categories, like family. And there could be different family members, and some family members might get there first. Some family members might not get there in this lifetime. It could be a twin flame type of experience. And so you want to hold space for that divine counterpart without saying it has to be this person. Because that person may actually have a date with destiny elsewhere. And you might have a better partner coming in for you. And very often on the journey, you have several different partners. And the universe will help to bring those partners in. But if you are heavily fixated on it has to be these people in this configuration or this person for eternity, then the universe may not help you. And you may create these empty vectors of potentials, meaning you're there, you're building a road there. I'm imagining this energy field around you, and all of a sudden there's like this highway or a single line of energy that is exiting your auric field, and it is moving space and particles and creating and morphing material worlds and linkers for you to traverse and to get where you want to go and to tag into parallel universes. And normally in a co-creation, you have another person that in their auric field has an energy band that is reaching for yours across the space-time continuum. And at some point there is a connection and there is a concentration of energy between both of you, and then you both create this plane of existence. But when you start forcing people to create with you that are not actually creating with you, or that have no interest in creating with you, red flag, or that you're forcing them for whatever reason, you're dominating them and saying, I know what's best for you and your destiny and your soul's growth, and you're mine. Like that is a type of sentience that we need to evolve from, because it's very selfish and it's very me-centered, I want centered. And we need to realize that what is best for all parties involved may be a configuration that we hadn't considered before. So when you are working with empty vectors, it's like you're going through all of this trouble to create these doors, and then you open the door and there's nobody there. It's just empty. Whereas when you're on this journey and you are reality shifting and creating with others, you can actually multiply your efforts, especially when your intentions, your behavior, your actions, your thoughts are all in alignment, and you create a plan together, and then you bring that plan into fruition. Then it's a beautiful catalytic field of energy. But when we are hell-bent on satisfying or filling a hole of some wounded part of ourselves, you can never leave. Never. Never. Why? No, it's a serious question. Why? Because the vision of the life that you have right now, not you specifically, but this fictional person, unless somebody needs to hear this, I feel it. The vision that you have is looking backwards at the past, when your future is actually transcendental if you allow it to come into being. And loss is really a perseveration of an illusion of something that was always meant to be fleeting. And it is the mind that clings on and grasps on because it doesn't want to let go of the dream and the illusion that it was holding on to in the first place. And so by that illusion, the lust for the illusion, what ends up happening is that we miss the signs that it's never actually coming into reality because of a variety of different reasons. But at some point, that person's not really a co-creator with us, and we're trying to force it. Letting people go gracefully is actually an honorable approach, in my opinion. And allowing people to move on. You know, some people in their shadow patterns, what they'll do is they'll just hoard attention and emotional connections, and they won't let their partners or their former partners leave because that attention gives them some sort of validation. And so every time the partner tries to move on, they could even be broken up, right? But their friendship that remains is actually kind of an inappropriate friendship. And both parties kind of feel it, but they're not ready to completely let go. And so then they'll try to move on and try to bring other people into the picture. And this ends up sabotaging the new relationships because the other people can feel the energy is not quite right. Even though on the surface, the couple that's broken up is like, no, we're just doing it for the kids. No, we're just friends. Yeah, no. Right. You know, at a certain point in the 5D, we feel that. We all feel that. We feel the energy. We feel the intent. And when people are lying to themselves like that, it creates a mess of a situation. And so when those shadow patterns are active, usually it's one or both parties. It is usually both parties, but their reasons can be different that keep them bound and not really available, even though they are trying to be available. And when one partner really tries to separate, whoever's listening to this that needs to hear it, trust your intuition because you're exactly right. You're reading the situation correctly. And this is just a confirmation for you because somebody really, really, really needs to hear this. The act of walking away when those shadow patterns are active creates this sense of loss in the person or people that don't want to let go. And so what happens is that's when the manipulation comes out. That's when all of a sudden the emergencies, like there's so many emergencies. All of a sudden there's like a lot of help that's needed. Whatever the button is of that person that doesn't want to let go, they'll start pushing that button really hard as soon as they feel that their person is walking away. Again, they could still be broken up, but it's like if somebody comes in and takes that position that they're used to being in, like let's say they're used to being the queen in somebody's life, even if it's platonic, and all of a sudden the person meets another queen. And even though they might even be dating somebody else, they could literally have somebody else. They will hold on to their position. So that's just a very, very toxic love dynamic. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to force people to stay just because we are wounded and need that validation. And we want to let people go, even if that means that we're letting go for potentially forever. Because to do so is kind, it's honorable, it's the right thing to do. And then focusing on the self-work is really, really important too. Like, we don't want to be messing with people's destinies, right? Like, we need to let people have their time. And sometimes that means that it's with other people and other places and other opportunities. There are parents that don't want to let their children go. It's the same type of phenomenon. And so when we start to do this personal work, then we vibrate differently because we are raising our awareness of ourselves. We're raising our frequency. We're stepping out of codependent behavior patterns. We're stepping away from neediness. And as a result, the manifestations and the realities that we've scripted for ourselves may change. And so when we leave it broad, then we also let those older manifestations die. And especially that's important if we had co-creators. It's important to close those doors so they don't have an empty vector waiting for us. And you can feel it. You know, when you're sensing out the probabilities, you can feel if there's an empty vector or if there is a sentient being that is trying to get to you and is trying to create with you. And if you're just in your own energy, or if you feel an energy void, it's probably an empty vector. And it might just be coming from the mind. Like, it seems like a really cool idea, and then you get there and you're like, whoa, did I really manifest this? I've had a couple of those where I'm like, I don't think I manifested this. Anyway, so I have just to give you a practical example, I have a reality layer that is maintained and held for my friends and my family. And it is a quantum level arrangement, and meaning there's upgraded societal living, there's futuristic technology, there is different social dynamics, and I have this whole vision for it, right? I am getting closer and closer to seeing it come into fruition, but I don't know how many of those friends and family are going to fill those slots. So I have allowed for it to be somebody that's like, feels like a friend or feels like family. And so hopefully, you know, my sisters will join me and my parents will join me. And I've felt them, you know, like when I've created this potential, and there are other people too that I have like slotted out, but I'm not forcing their time in this lifetime. I'm not forcing it on them. I'm not saying you have to meet me there. You know, like I'm continuing on my way. I'm leaving it open, but I'm also opening it up to other soul friends and soul family. And the same with partnerships as well. That I have several key partnerships that I believe also make it, but I don't know what their lifelines are like right now. And I don't know if it's going to be in this configuration, the way that I have it mapped out. And if not, I'm cool with it changing, you know? And so it's allowing space without dictating how it is filled. That is how you avoid an empty vector situation. So listen, if you are interested in working one-on-one, I am a reality shifting coach. I also help you level up to be the quintessential badass that we all know that you are trying to become. We find your purpose, we work through your shadow patterns, and we navigate through your reality layers and set a course of amazing action for you to reach your highest potential. Feel free to reach out to me at sacredjourneyproductions@gmail.com if you are potentially interested in this. All right, we'll talk soon.